On the first day of the month, I was alone in my house, resting on my bed. I fell into a deep sleep, and in my dreams, two men of extraordinary size appeared before me, unlike anything I had ever seen on earth. Their faces shone with the brilliance of the sun, and their eyes glowed like flames. From their lips, fire emerged, and they were adorned in garments of varied and resplendent colors, predominantly purple. Their wings sparkled more brightly than gold, and their hands were whiter than snow. These men stood at the head of my bed, calling me by my name. Upon hearing them, I awoke from my slumber and saw these two men clearly standing before me. Trembling with fear, I greeted them, but the terror on my face was evident. Sensing my fear, they spoke to me with gentle words. "Take courage, Enoch. Do not be afraid. The eternal God has sent us to you. Today, you will ascend with us into heaven, and you shall relay to your sons and household all that they must do in your absence on earth. Let no one search for you until the Lord returns you to them." I hastened to obey their command and swiftly exited my house, as instructed. I summoned my sons, Methuselah, Regem, and Gad, and revealed to them all the marvels that the two men had disclosed to me. After I had informed my sons, the angels lifted me up, taking me upon their wings. We ascended to the first heaven, where they placed me among the clouds. As I looked around, I beheld the vastness of the heavens, stretching far beyond the boundaries of the earth. They showed me a great sea, much larger than any earthly ocean. Before me stood the elders and rulers of the stellar orders, and they introduced me to 200 angels who govern the stars, ensuring that they fulfill their duties to the heavens, flying on their wings to those who navigate the skies. Looking downward, I saw the treasure houses of snow, guarded by angels who maintained these fearsome storehouses. They also showed me the clouds, their origins, and where they retreat. Further, they revealed the treasure house of dew, which appeared like olive oil, with the forms of all the flowers of the earth. Many angels stood guard over these treasure houses, controlling their opening and closing. Afterward, the two men led me up to the second heaven, where darkness far greater than any on earth enveloped me. There, I saw prisoners suspended, awaiting the great and boundless judgment. These angels were dark, their appearance more ominous than the deepest earthly night, weeping incessantly. I asked the men who were with me, "Why are these angels subjected to such relentless torment?" They answered, "These are the apostates of God, who defied his commands and followed their own counsel, turning away with their prince, who is now bound on the fifth heaven." The men then took me to the third heaven and placed me there. As I gazed downward, I saw the produce of this realm, unlike anything known for its goodness. I beheld trees in full bloom, their fruits emitting a sweet fragrance, and the air was filled with the scent of these delectable offerings. In the midst of the garden stood the tree of life, where the Lord rests when he ascends into paradise. This tree is of indescribable goodness and fragrance, more splendid than anything in existence. Its form is like gold, vermilion, and fire, enveloping all around it. The tree produces all kinds of fruits, its roots stretching into the garden at the earth's end. Paradise lies between corruptibility and incorruptibility, with two springs flowing forth honey and milk, while two others produce oil and wine. These springs separate into four parts, flowing quietly around, eventually merging into the paradise of Eden, situated between corruptibility and incorruptibility. Here, the waters continue their course around the earth, circulating like other elements. In this paradise, there is no barren tree. Every place is blessed. 300 bright angels guard this garden, singing sweetly and ceaselessly, their voices never silent, serving the Lord day and night. The two men then led me to the northern side, showing me a place of great terror. There were all manner of torments in this place: cruel darkness, unilluminated gloom, and not a single source of light, except for a murky fire that constantly blazed. A fiery river flowed forth, and the entire area was engulfed in flames. Frost and ice filled the air, causing intense thirst and shivering. The bonds were exceedingly cruel, and the angels overseeing this place were fearful and merciless, wielding angry weapons to inflict relentless torture. I exclaimed, "Whoa, whoa, how terribly frightening is this place?" The men replied, "This place, O Enoch, is prepared for those who dishonor God. On earth, They practiced unnatural sins, corrupting children after the manner of Sodom, engaging in sorcery, witchcraft, and boasting of their wicked deeds. They stole, lied, slandered, envied, committed fornication and murder, and those who cursed and stole the souls of men, who took from the poor and enriched themselves by injuring others, are condemned here. Those who, being able to satisfy the hungry, let them die of hunger, or who stripped the naked instead of clothing them, and who knew not their Creator but worshipped lifeless gods, have their eternal inheritance in this place. The men then took me to the fourth heaven, where they showed me the paths of the sun and the moon, and I measured their movements and compared their light. I saw that the light of the sun was greater than that of the moon. The sun moved on a wheel, as if driven by wind, with extraordinary speed. Day and night, it never rested, its passage and return accompanied by 4 great stars, each with 1,000 stars beneath it. On the right side of the sun's wheel, 4 stars moved, each accompanied by 1,000 stars, while on the left side, 4 more stars moved, also with 1,000 stars beneath them. Altogether, 8,000 stars accompanied the sun continuously, with 15 myriads of angels attending it by day, and 1,000 six-winged ones by night. These angels kindled the sun and set it alight, sending forth fiery flames. The men then took me to the 5th heaven, where I saw numerous soldiers, known as the Grigori, who appeared human but were of enormous size, greater than any giant. Their faces were withered, their mouths perpetually silent, and there was no service performed in the 5th heaven. I asked the men who were with me, "Why are these beings so withered, their faces melancholy, and their mouths silent? And why is there no service in this heaven?" They replied, "These are the Grigori who, along with their prince Satan, rejected the Lord of light. Among them are those who are bound in great darkness on the 2nd heaven. 3 of them descended to earth from the Lord's throne, breaking their vows on the hill of air, where they saw the daughters of men, found them beautiful, and took wives for themselves, defiling the earth with their deeds. They brought lawlessness and disorder, leading to the birth of giants and men of great enmity. Therefore, God judged them with great severity, and they weep for their brethren, awaiting punishment on the Lord's great day. The men then carried me to the 6th heaven, where I saw 7 bands of angels, exceedingly bright and glorious, their faces shining more brilliantly than the sun. There was no difference in their appearance, behavior, or manner of dress. These angels are responsible for the orders of the heavens, studying the movements of the stars, the phases of the moon, the revolutions of the sun, and the governance of the world. When they observe evildoing, they issue commandments and instructions, singing sweetly and loudly. These are the archangels, superior to all other angels, who measure all life in heaven and on earth. They oversee the seasons, the years, the rivers, the seas, the fruits of the earth, and the growth of every plant that provides food for all living things. These angels also record the souls of men, their deeds, and their lives before the Lord's face. Among them are 6 phoenixes, 6 cherubim, and 6 seraphim, all with 6 wings, singing continually with one voice, their song indescribable. They rejoice before the Lord at his footstool. Finally, the 2 men lifted me up to the 7th heaven, where I saw a very great light and fiery troops of great archangels, incorporeal forces, dominions, orders, and governments, cherubim and seraphim, thrones, and many-eyed ones. 9 regiments stood in stations of light, and I became afraid, trembling with great terror. The men guided me, saying, "Take courage, Enoch, do not fear," and showed me the Lord from afar, seated on his very high throne. The 10th heaven, where the Lord dwells, is known in the Hebrew tongue as Aravoth. Heavenly troops ascend to him, standing on 10 steps according to their rank, bowing before him, and then returning to their places, singing songs of joy in the boundless light. Their voices are small and tender, but their service to the Lord is glorious. I saw the 8th heaven, called Musaloth in Hebrew, which changes the seasons, controlling drought and rain, and the 12 constellations of the circle of the firmament above the 7th heaven. I also saw the 9th heaven, known as Kuchavim in Hebrew, where the heavenly homes of the 12 constellations are located. Finally, on the 10th heaven, Aravoth, I saw the appearance of the Lord's face, glowing like iron heated in a fire, emitting sparks. His face was ineffable, marvelous, and very terrible. Who am I to describe the Lord's unspeakable being, his wonderful face, or the multitude of his instructions and various voices? The Lord's throne is immense, not made by human hands, and surrounded by innumerable cherubim and seraphim. Their incessant singing and his immutable beauty are beyond description. Who can tell of the ineffable greatness of his glory? I fell prone and bowed down before the Lord, and with his lips he said to me, "Take courage, Enoch, do not fear. Arise and stand before my face for eternity." The archangel Michael lifted me up and led me before the Lord's face. The Lord then said to his servants, testing them, "Let Enoch stand before my face for eternity." The glorious ones bowed down to the Lord, saying, "Let Enoch go according to your word." The Lord then commanded Michael, "Go, take Enoch out of his earthly garments, anoint him with my sweet ointment, and clothe him in the garments of my glory." Michael did as the Lord instructed, anointing me and dressing me. The ointment was more radiant than the great light, with a mild fragrance like sweet dew, shining like the sun's rays. When I looked at myself, I saw that I had become like one of his glorious ones.